I
Am I
can
back?
see
Okay,
you.
let me start recording again. All right.
Yeah, you're
You can
back
hear
now.
me? Okay,
Yes, yes.
did you answer any questions?
Yes, I read a question from
It's
someone
okay.
in
You
the
don't have
chat.
to answer them.
Yeah.
So, which ones did you answer?
Um, um, from one of the chat, there was someone who asked about personal health and wellness
Okay.
in architecture one's future. And I was just mentioning mental health and the importance of, keeping yourself, okay mentally, not just
Mm-hmm.
physically, but also making sure that mentally you are in a good place and seeking support when you need to seek it, seeing a counselor, if you need
Yeah.
to visit, someone to talk to, these are
Mhm.
things that are, especially in our context, that are not very, people are not very familiar with, but they're very important. And I was just mentioning that one of my support systems, who's my best friend, is a mental health expert and
Mm.
advocate. And she's been like a very, very big part of helping me understand the importance of, making sure that I am mentally okay and in a good place.
Perfect. There was someone had a question about sharing it's not here anymore because it's in the other chat about sharing the presentation. Was that you, Alan? I think that was Alan. Alan, you also had another question. Can you drop it again, please? I think you had two in the chat. All right, so
Yeah,
I
the other one was the personal. The other one was the one about the health and wellness.
oh, okay, okay, that was Alan's question. Okay, let me see. Could you touch
Yeah.
on the okay, all right, personal health and wellness and architecting one's future. Okay. May I get a copy of the slide? Okay. So you're gonna share it, Alvin. Can I
Yes,
have it?
Alan,
Can I? I mean, I have it.
you can.
Can I put it in the group
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Okay. So then,
Oh, yes, yes, yes. These are resources that are open to CDPD members. I'm very happy to share it with anyone who needs it.
all right. So guys, I'm gonna upload it into the group when we're done today. Okay. Let's see. So I have okay. So that's great. Then I have. When did you overcome your personal fears?
Mm, wow.
Mm.
um, Overcoming your personal fears, I think it's not something that happens once.
Mhm.
It's something that I have to be very deliberate about.
Oh gosh, am I losing it again, guys? Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, you're there.
Okay, great.
Hmm.
Okay. So I was saying that it's I do, and I make effort to make sure that I am not weighed down by things that I am going through, and things that are happening to me, because things happen all the time. I have lots of fears all the time. Things come my way and I sit and I think, wow, how am I going to handle it? I have lots of fears, but just because I have the fear doesn't mean that I'm going to let it overshadow me.
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get myself, because if I allowed myself, and if I touch a little bit about my own personal journey, um, growing up, and what I went through, losing my father, then later losing my mom. By the time I was 19, we were orphaned. And I had my two sisters younger than me, all in school, and I had just finished high school, the eldest. And here we were. And how are we to move forward? So that was one of the darkest times in my life. And if that time didn't break me, I surely nothing is able to break me at this point.
Yes.
And at that point, the truth is, at that point, I was very bitter, and I think, I don't want to say people should be bitter and that should drive them, but I'm just saying that at that point, there was a lot of that in my life, because I was so bitter with life and everything that was happening. It was fueling me. But if you let bitterness fuel you, it will kill you.
Mm.
You'll get to a point where it will crush you, it will eat you up, and it will remove everything that is joyous, everything that is happy, anything that gives you strength, it will take it all away from you. So I had to deliberately choose to be happy with my life. I
Mm.
had to deliberately choose that every day I wake up, I'm making a conscious choice, right? To be happy and to overcome what I need to overcome that day.
All right. I love that, Alvin, and it's true. And I love the way how you say, if that didn't get you, right?
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
that was a very dark period, right?
yeah, yes.
Um, oh, Alan, you see that from Alan? Thank you for a great feedback.
Mm,
Yeah. All right.
thank you, Alan.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you've gotten some insightful tips and thank you. I'm really happy for the feedback.
All right. I have, when did you realize you were ready to work towards your goals and dreams?
Oh, I knew it. Like, I have known that I have big dreams for a long time. It's not been I can't I can't say when I realized. I think I also saw a lot of ambition and drive in my mom growing up. My mother, she was a very hardworking woman. She was raising three kids by herself, at some point jobless, and we were all going to school. And
Mm,
not just, not just any kind of school. We were going to good schools. She
mm,
was making the effort to make sure that we did not lack anything. I know she had a lot of struggles that she went through personally, and those are things that I take and I try now not to do the same. But then I also take the bits from her where I saw what an amazing role model she was. I always say, if I was only a third of the person that she is, I think I will have achieved a lot in life.
oh,
Yeah, because with three kids and not having a job, she was still putting us through private school. And up to the last day of her life, she was making sure that we had the best. And so I always knew from a young age, because um, growing up, she had given us everything that she could give us. We had a good life. And even when things started going south and things were no longer as good as they were before, I could still remember
mm.
how and what we had. And I knew that we could get back there.
Oh,
And
you.
I could get back there. Yeah.
I love it that you drew from those times. Guys, do you have
Yeah.
any other questions? Because you know what's getting ready to happen. Please, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or raise your hand. We'll bring you on. Cynthia, you sure you don't want to raise your hand again? Was that a real hand raise? Because I'm going to go ahead with my questions. So what I'll do is I'll start my first two questions and then I'll check back into the chat before my third. Okay. All right. So Alvin, I'm doing something a little different because I actually got the definition of marginalization from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Okay. And can you hear me, Alvin? Oh,
I can hear you.
okay. And the reason I got it is because some people automatically think marginalization is just one thing or the other. So I just got the definition. I'm going to read you the definition. I'm going to read you
Mhm.
our mission, and then I'm going to ask you the question. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
the dictionary definition, and this was from Merriam Webster's, said marginalize it to put or keep, and then someone in a powerless or important position within a society or group. Okay. Very simple definition. All right. So we, CDPD's mission is to increase marginalized and BIPOC groups access to employment opportunities and representation in the workforce by providing our members with free training, mentorship, and other resources. CDPD was created in response to record unemployment and underemployment stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. So I'm going to ask you, Alvin, keeping in mind our mission and the definition to put or keep someone in a powerless or important position within society or a group. Could you share with us today if you have ever been marginalized by someone, some group? in a situation where you were marginalized?
Mhm. Well, Dinette, myself being a gay person, being a gay man, and in this part of the world, I have faced all kinds of issues, whether it's marginalization, discrimination, all kinds of things, being a Black man, being gay. It's like, it's a combination of everything, okay? Being Black, gay, being coming from Africa, it's just everything that I have faced. I've faced things at the airport when I'm trying to travel internationally. I've faced things at embassies when I'm trying to apply for visas. And in my personal and professional life, I have faced marginalization, definitely, especially for being LGBTQ. And I remember one of my very first jobs when I joined, and because I have always been true to myself, and one of the things that has been very important to me is for me to always speak my truth and never to hide.
Mhm.
I it might be difficult living as a gay man in Kenya today, and to be accepted by society, but I have always chosen, even years ago. Now I'm in my 30s. This was in my 20s, and this was even still when these things were not out there and people could even talk about them like we do now. And I was out at that point because I had chosen to come out, and I said I was not going to live in the closet. After going through what I went through at by the time I was 19 years, I was like, I'm going to live my truth moving forward. And so I remember one of my first jobs when I joined, and my colleagues found out somewhere, I don't know, that I was gay. Not that necessarily I hide it. And so they literally bombarded me with text messages, and sent, I was getting, anonymous text messages, talking about how I'm going to be assaulted. I was getting, my boss who hired me at that point, got messages also from, anonymously, but from definitely from people who we were working with, that I was, an embarrassment to be working for that company, and that they should get rid of me, so that the the organization, the company is no longer, I mean, they're not in that embarrassed state. And one of the things, I know that he wasn't the best person, or he wasn't like, but he stood up and he said, no, this is not right. And if anybody has a problem with Alvin being here, then you have a problem with me as your employer. And so that was some of the biggest truths that I've learned, that even where there's those spaces where you're not, people are trying to make them unsafe, and people are trying to put you in a powerless position. People are trying to bring you down. People are trying to, just get you down and low and just break your spirit. That there are people, and there are safe spaces where you can seek. And so for me, that continued to be my mission and continue to be my passion, that I will never, despite everything that I face, every day I wake up and have to face the world as a young Black gay man living in Kenya. Every day is a struggle in its own. But again, like I said, being deliberate and choosing not to let that bring me down. And no matter what marginalization I face out there, the comments people have to say about me, or some of the closed-minded, things people are not educated about, the LGBTQ community and all those things, I don't let them bring me down. But yes, I've faced a lot of instances. If we were to sit here and discuss them, they would just be too many to go through. But I choose not to let those break my spirit.
And
And I'm happy that I've gotten to the place where I am, and I can be proud of
yeah.
who I am. And I will never accept to go into a closet or somewhere else, back where I was at 19 years,
Mhm.
just to please someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Alvin. I asked the question not to dwell on these negative experiences, but I asked the question for our members and for anyone who watches this presentation to see that, first of all, there's so many different ways that our presenters have said they've been marginalized for different reasons, not always obvious, right?
Mhm.
Uh, but in spite of that, they're here presenting today. You're here, you're presenting, and you have something to share that is helping other people. You're successful, right? And you're still striving for more success. And that's why I asked the question, because I want people to take courage,
Mhm.
encouragement, and strength from the fact that even if you are in a situation right now where you feel like you're marginalized, you too can be successful, you can be triumphant, you can glean from the presenters. And that's why I asked that question. Okay. And thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go back to the chat because I see a question. Let's see. Oh, this is both for Alvin and Danette. How do you bounce back from losing a job, especially during the pandemic? Alvin, can you start and I'll pick up?
Okay. Yeah. Um, so right now I can only imagine. I am lucky that right now I still have a job, and I wouldn't even, try to imagine what someone who had to lose their job at this point during a pandemic is facing. But I think again, one of the most important things, like I said, is for you to keep being persistent, insistent, and consistent, and for you not to give up. Just because one door has closed doesn't mean that the window is not open. Okay, doesn't mean that the doggy door won't open and for you to crawl through it. It doesn't mean that everything else is shut from you just because you lost your employment. I've been in a position where I've lost employment previously. Dinette, you're very well aware of
Yeah.
what happened. But just because you lose something, it's a it could be an opportunity for you to start, or to get into something else. I know a lot of people in this time, I've seen, stories, because I like to go on YouTube and watch people's stories and everything, that they say, okay, I lost my job, but then I was able to start this business. I was able to, now get into maybe something that I wanted, a passion that I had been keeping off for so long. And now this was the opportunity for me now to, take the reins and just move forward with what I have been planning for myself. But I have not had the time, I have not had the commitment, I've not had, the push or the drive to take me to what I need to be doing. And so that's one of the things that I was talking about in the last slide, letting go of things that are holding you back. Sometimes letting go even of that job is a good thing for you. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's very difficult. Definitely we all want to have a source of income, but for me, I think that is something that I would take. And I would, and that's what I'm saying, laying networks and laying foundations and um, putting yourself out there so that even when things like this happen, you have a fallback mechanism, or you're able to, pick yourself, and take yourself somewhere.
Yeah. I will share. Thank you, Alvin. I will share along those lines. Someone said to me earlier this week or last week, recently, sometimes you have to, that the archer, with a bow and arrow, an
Mhm,
archer has to draw back to move
mhm,
forward, right? So you have to pull the bow back. And if you look at that and you take that right now in this time, the go back is I'm unemployed. I'm back to being unemployed, right? But what are you going to do in this moment of unemployment? There's so many things that people are doing. And yes, some people are starting businesses and doing amazing, amazing things. Some people are also doing amazing things like learning a new trade, learning a new skill, building their personal and professional networks. They're planting the seeds, right?
mhm,
And they're
mhm.
watering them, and then they will sprout in the future. And so one thing I can say is just to have hope. Like have hope. I love when Alvin says, if you're already on the floor, right? You can't fall any further, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you're yeah. The only way is up.
Yeah, the only way is up, and it's difficult, and I have been laid off before. I've been unemployed before. I'm unemployed now, so but in that I am keeping myself very, very busy and very, very active with CDPD, and I am also trying to help others. And I do love the fact that Alvin says paying it forward, because in
Mhm.
in in this that we are doing here in CDPD, no matter where you are, you can pay it forward. We had a woman give a presentation a couple of weeks ago. She was unemployed, talking about her journey. And while she was
Mhm.
giving the presentation, someone was leaving her a message, giving her a job. Okay, so
Mildred. I
Mildred,
think that's
yes.
yeah.
And
I
she,
saw I saw her post on Facebook and I was like, wow,
yes,
winning, amazing.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I would say I know it's difficult, and I know it's especially difficult outside of the U.S., where we have some safety nets here that are not unemployment and public assistance that are not available in Kenya and other countries. But I will say, you know, figure out something that gives you hope. It could be your children, it could be personal success in the future, it could be a new car you want, whatever it is. It could be something materialistic, right? Um,
Yes.
and know that you'll have it one day if you just stay the course. And staying the course now means that in your time of unemployment, there's something that you need to do for yourself. And I don't know what that is, but is that um a new skill? Is that helping someone else? Is that learning something? Is that you're not sending out resumes to in the right way, right? Because we don't just
Mhm.
want to be click 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 sending resumes.
Exactly.
So there's some things you need to do. um and it's difficult. I don't want to discount the fact that it is difficult. And definitely stay here in CDPD, right? So when you can, uh, come into the group, connect with people. I'm trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't want to start saying what I'm trying to do because I don't want to make any empty promises, but I'm not forgetting Kenya. That's my second home. So I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to do here for all of us. All right.
Yeah.
Do we have another question? No. Okay. So I'm going to ask Alvin my second question. And my second question, Alvin, is uh, since you're all the way in your 30s now, instead of if I'm in my 70s, you're all the way in your 30s now. What would you go back and tell your younger self about your
Oh.
career journey, your journey?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's a really good question. And I say this about myself. I'm like, I'm in my 30s, but I feel like I've lived the life, like I'm 60 at this point. Like I feel that, like sometimes I feel that I'm like, wow, I feel like I've lived until 60 and I'm still just in my 30s. It's still a long way to go, but from the experiences that I've been through, it feels like I'm 60. Sometimes I feel that way. But if I could go back to my 19-year-old self, I think I will just say what Nicole said last week, that I would tell that young man that it's going to be okay, because he had nothing to look forward to. He had no hope. He had nowhere to fall back on, but just the good graces of some wonderful people who came into my life. And that's the thing, even with that question about, what do you do in a situation where you need to bounce back after you've lost a job? Like, you have no hope. And I have been in situations where I've had no hope. Like, again, like we're talking about my younger self at 19. But I look back at that now and I think, wow, I had such amazing grace. There was so much grace to take me through that period that I look now and I'm like, if half of it happened to me now, I don't know if I have the I could take it, but I could take it. Yeah, I could take it at that point because I had the grace at that point to take it. So if I could go back to my 19-year-old self, I would tell him, Alvin, oh my God, you don't know the wonderful things that are waiting for you. You don't know you're gonna be able to go to a vacation one day You pay for yourself and go to a vacation outside of the continent.
All right.
Leave alone, leave alone traveling with it. Like there's so many things ahead of your future that are going to be wonderful.
Yes.
Like there's gonna be tough times, there's gonna be dark times, but there's so much ahead of you that you will sit back and you will say and you will not believe it's you who's going through it. So that's what I would tell him. I would tell him, keep the course.
Keep the course. Stay the course.
Keep the course.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. All right. I don't have anything else. Let me look on YouTube really quickly to make sure. And then I'm going to go with my final question, which you guys all know. Okay, these are comments, so they're not questions. I'm going to drop them back. I'm going to drop them into the chat so you'll have them on when I send you the these are from YouTube. The last bit from YouTube. Okay, this was a wonderful presentation. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, this is my final question. So Alvin, if we can only take away one item today, what do you want us to take away? What would be the takeaway you want from?
Okay. Again, simple. Persistence, insistence, consistency. PIC is my life. That's it. I got it in high school. I'll never forget my English teacher for letting me know, for those 3 words, and she kept drilling them. And it was as if it was, something that it was divine, or if you believe in divine, or if it was the universe or something. But that has been my life. And for me, I just will never give up. No matter how things look, my takeaway is never give up on yourself. Never do.
What was this teacher's name? You have to say her name.
We
don't remember? We remember.
But I think she was called Mrs. Ogola, but I can't remember if that was, I bet she was called Mrs. Ogola, yes, at Brookshire High School.
All right.
If I've gotten your name wrong, I'm so sorry, but
he got that pick. Got that.
But I remember the school at least, and I remember it was in my first year of high school.
Well,
and maybe one day I can meet her like Oprah did. I saw Oprah make her first grade, teacher, and I guess she was still remembering her name. I have a weakness. I'm really bad at remembering names. Things, so I tend to forget names from time to time, but I will never forget a face. Like, that's the thing. I forget names, but faces, I would never forget. I know I've met someone forever. So,
I don't forget the faces. In my old age, in my 40s, I have started to forget names. Yes, I'm not like my old boss Miro. I'm not like him. I can't remember everybody's name.
Miro,
everyone's face.
Yeah. I recently wrote to him on LinkedIn, and I was like, "Hello, Miro." Like, we weren't a connection, and he remembered. He was like, "Of course, I remember you, Alvin."
Everyone's name.
Like, wow.
I'm not that good. But and then everyone uses different names on social media. I always say, "Oh, my Kenyan crew, you guys have all these names. I only know your passport name. If it's not your passport name, I don't know it." Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, this was so wonderful. Thank you, Alvin. I really appreciate you. I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna say, because we have quite a few people on the chat from Kenya, and I know that quite a few people will watch the replay from Kenya. I know you guys can't always jump on because the stuff that I do is not always in Kenyan time or convenient, but I'm going to encourage you to stay the course with CDPD, okay? I'm going to encourage you to catch the replays, to reach out to me if you need any assistance. I will connect you with anyone that you need to be connected with, that I believe that if you believe they can help you and they're connected to me, I will do that. I don't know if you know, but I love all of you, okay? Like, I love all of you. And I wouldn't have started CDPD if so many of my former RSC staff didn't contact me for assistance, okay? I had a handful of people in the US that I knew, but the bulk of the people contacting me were RSC current or former staff. And that's why I started CDPD. So you guys always have a place in my heart. I will do anything that I can to support all of you. But you have to let me know. Okay. You have to speak. And I'll say that too. All of our presenters have said that they are willing to help. So when you think that you can't come to someone, you'd be surprised that people are willing to assist you and willing to help you. I had plenty of RSC staff come to me for career chats. I didn't have a lot of time, you know how it was there.
Yes.
But I made the time to speak to people, and people will help you. And so seek out those people. But remember, if you're going to watch Mildred's presentation, Mildred Allen, okay, she tells you what to do. If you're going to seek people out, then you need to be deliberate. You need to be mindful of their time, right? And
Mhm.
do the work. So I'm going to end this and say again, thank you, Alvin. I really, really appreciate you. You see in the chat, they've invited you back from YouTube.
I
Rhonda says, "Are you coming back?" That's up to Alvin if he wants to come back. Uh, you have an open
I,
invite.
I feel so honored, to just be here and to be talking to you, Dinette, and all CDPD members and anyone who will join. Like, I am just so honored just to have the opportunity. So definitely,
Yes.
if you, as long as the invite is there, I will come and we
Oh
can
yeah,
talk about more.
invite, and you come back. You tell me what you want to do, and when you want to do it, and we'll do it. All right. All right, Kenya, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining everyone else from CDPD. Get connected to Alvin. If you are not connected to Alvin, go on our YouTube channel and watch the replay of these presentations that Alvin told you about. And there are so many others. There are about 30 of them on the website and more to come. Thank you all. Have a good evening, Kenya.
Thank you.
All
Good
right.
night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. All right.